What's up, everybody? Here today to make a video around selecting the right job in tech sales. There's a ton of content out there around how to get into tech sales, why tech sales or SaaS sales or AI sales, whatever, is the next greatest thing, and how you can boost your income from this to that in a short amount of time. Yeah, all of those things are great too. I'm not dissing anybody's content at all. But when you get into this, you realize it's a whole different beast, right? So I've been working in software sales the majority of my career. I'm still young in it. So, I've been in the game for about 5 years. In tech sales, that's actually a long time. 6 years, actually, give or take. So about 6 years of work in this space. And I've seen a lot already. I'm not going to say I've seen it all, but I've seen quite a bit from working at a seed round, like pre-series A type of environment, to working for a Fortune 100 company, right? And selling different software solutions across the board to different verticals, different personality types. I've had SDR roles, I've had AE roles at the small business level all the way up through enterprise, which is where I'm at now. And it's pretty complicated. When you talk about the way to get to the money and the way to keep yourself balanced and ready to continue taking the next step, that's where it gets complicated, because you have to know how to navigate things. You have to understand what you're getting yourself into, because this career path is challenging. It's not easy. People make it out to be easy. It's not easy. So you can give yourself an advantage for sure by knowing the ins and outs. Before I get into everything, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment too. It really helps the algorithm. I'm trying to boost my presence, trying to boost my brand. Any help at all that you can give me is definitely appreciated. I'm not taking tips. All I'm asking is that you like, subscribe, and comment. So thank you for that. Now, what I will say around getting into tech sales, there's 100 different ways to do it. At the end of the day, it all comes down to asking the right questions during the interview process, positioning yourself as somebody who's coachable, and then just finding an in a place that you can tolerate while, as an SDR, but in terms of propelling your career to that next level and developing some staying power, I always say this: it's around, who have you made money for? I'll pause right there, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. If you want to get paid in sales in general, but specifically in tech sales, you have to make a whole lot of people money before you ever get your opportunity to cash out. Or at least that's how it's been for me. I can't sit here and act like it's just this unifying experience for everybody. It's not necessarily like that, but for most people, I can say that you have to earn your stripes. You have to go through quite a bit to get to a point where you can earn quite a bit. You'll start off in a livable type of situation where you're making good money, but to graduate to the large high-end six-figure range, that's where you need to start focusing on staying power and strategic moves. This is not a linear career path at all. So that's one of the huge misconceptions about this space, is that you do this, then you get this. You do this, then you get this. I know people who have stayed SDRs for the majority of their career, and they never got the opportunity to get to like an enterprise closer. I know people who came from outside of never being a closer at all, barely worked in tech at all, and then end up in a managerial role within a tech company, right? So the path is very unique, and it's really up to you how you get get to the end goal, right? Whatever your end goal is in this space, I suggest that you figure that out pretty early on, and then you start to strategically pinpoint what that next step is going to be. Always be thinking about that next step. And when you talk about staying power, you have to think about, okay, this is where I'm at for now, but can I stay here? How long can I stay here? How lucrative is it for me to stay here in this position? And you have to constantly be evaluating the value that you're providing to a company in comparison to the value that a company is providing for you. Now, it really is, I really hate to say this, but it's actually the truth. It's how can you always be winning that exchange? How can you always be winning that exchange? There's going to be some times where you're giving more than you're taking, and there's going to be some times when you're taking more than you're giving. But at the end of the day, you, on average, should be taking more than you're giving. And that's just an honest fact. Because the other way around will put you in a position where long term you're getting the short end of the stick. And that's the reason why once you get into tech sales, you have to be very strategic about what vertical you really want to be a part of. Meaning, like, what type of products you're selling to who, who are you talking to on a day-to-day basis? Does it actually pique your interest? Do you actually want to go the extra mile? Do you actually care to negotiate, your staying power in that particular space? Do you care to be a voice and a brand in that space? Those are all things that you have to evaluate on a day-to-day basis, right? And then you also have to look at what stage of a company's journey do you fit in the best? Are you somebody who's okay with the maximum amount of risk, or are you somebody who's more so tailored to wanting to come into a more turnkey environment where you don't really have to invent quite as much? The process is more defined and you're having to just execute based on a plan that somebody already generated. But for some people, they might find that to be boring. They might find that to be less challenging because of the politics, and the lack of innovation at times, or just the slow moving nature of companies like that in that big Fortune 100, 200, all the way up to 500 space, right? So I suggest once you get your foot into tech sales, you need to build a roadmap, not just for your success in that particular role, but for your success in your career. What is your overall goal, like from a 5-year standpoint? And then you have to view yourself as a business and as a business partner to the companies that you're working with, right? I think that's a huge tip, and it's something that a lot of people overlook, and they just kind of, we'll see. No, you do not want to get into that position. Once you get into that position of, we'll see, just riding it out for now, we'll see what presents itself. You have to be a dog about everything. You have to be active about everything. You have to proactively scan the market and determine what is your next best step, assuming that your time at the company that you're at right now is limited. It's very limited. I'm not going to sit here and act like you're going to get fired tomorrow. That's not the point. You don't want to go into work with a sense of feeling like, at any given moment they're going to terminate you. That's not the point. But what the point is in the event that you find that next opportunity, or you need to find that next opportunity, you already have a plan, right? And it's serving to you. It's not serving to somebody else. It's serving to you, right? And I think when you talk about staying power, connecting to the original point that I was making, that's a huge part of it. That's a huge part of it. Because if you're putting yourself in a winning position every time you make a career move, because you've thought it out thoroughly, you've been proactive about it from the beginning all the way through the actual signing, after negotiating your contract, you are guaranteed to be happier in that situation, which then entails you putting in better work, more quality work, having better results, getting paid more, and then you can choose to continue to try to grow with that company, or if it's not serving you anymore, then you go back to your roadmap. you look at your roadmap and you start to dictate and determine what is that next step of the companies that will best suit me, right? So best of luck to anybody who just got their first SDR role and they're like, look, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to make 100 calls today. I'm just trying to figure out how I can enroll the best people into this cadence, and then click the little success button in SalesLoft, or click the success button in Outreach, just to get that praise from my AE or get that praise from management. Yeah, that's awesome. Keep doing that. Don't stop doing that, and don't stop learning as well. Obviously, continue to invest in your mental game and be a student of the sales world, but never ever lose sight, not one day, not 1 second, of your roadmap and what's going to be best serving to you and your career goals throughout the entire way, right? And ultimately, with those two combined, the being where your feet are, the constant effort and constant output and results that you'll drive, excellent. Combine that with your roadmap for your personal career and your what could be defined as a personal business plan, and you'll be even better off. You'll have staying power in this space, and you won't go from somebody who was an SDR before, but then crashed and burned essentially, and now they're on their way out the door, and they're right back at I don't know what a lot of people are doing, whatever you were doing before this, because it's not a guarantee just because you were an SDR one time that you'll get the opportunity again, or that you'll advance in this career, or that you won't stagnate and then end up hating tech sales. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. If you like this type of content, you can definitely trust that I'm giving it to you raw based on experience. I'm going to continue making videos like this weekly, probably every Friday. You'll see something from me, if not even more rapidly than that. I love doing this. So definitely like, subscribe, leave a comment so I can boost this page up. And then also, if you need anything, like if you have any questions, connect with me on LinkedIn. Zachary Braswell is my name. Connect with me on Instagram, saleslord.eth. Peace.